Blessed be, and welcome to this edition of Spirit of the Age. So hey, hi, how you doing? I am better than the last time I checked in here. Better on a personal level. In addition to the great crazy trauma that our country is currently undergoing, I had some serious personal BS going on last month, and man, let me tell you, that was not a good time at all. But one way or another, I've pretty well got a handle on things now, and I feel back in control, which is really important for me. And yes, I do realize that nothing is really ever truly under control, but having lived through a period of serious personal chaos some years back, I need to have a handle on my life just to feel right about things. This whole year has been off kilter for me. My work situation has bounced around a few times, and let me tell you, there's nothing like a little economic instability to take you down a peg or three. Well, I think, and I'm certainly hoping that I've got that sorted out now. I'm trusting my gut that says I do, so we'll see if I'm right soon enough. So far, it's looking good. Anyway, one of the ways that I have tried to get things in order here is by doing so literally. I'd had reasons to believe for a while that major changes were coming down the pike, though I certainly never foresaw the global scale that we're witnessing now. Only the things were due to go ass over tea kettles sooner rather than later. And having been through something like it a little before, I wanted to find myself still standing when the dust settled this time around as well. So for me, one of the things that means is having a secure home base. I need to have my ducks mostly in a row if I'm going to function at all well, and those darn duckies have been wandering all over the place for months. So one of the things that I did was to shake things up here on the home front. I switched out beds and rearranged my room. See? Which might not seem like that has anything to do with anything, but what it seems to have accomplished is breaking up the stagnant energy and making way for new patterns to form. When we moved in here a couple of years back, I set things up very similarly to how they had been in my last apartment, which made settling in simpler because I already knew where everything was going to go, but it also meant I was literally living the same old pattern I'd been inhabiting for years. And now I've got an entirely new flow going on. Will that affect how things work out for me going forward? Well, it might. So here we are, poised on the brink of winter. It snowed here over the weekend, first real snow of the season, but I have been feeling winter coming on for weeks, probably since Samhain, which just happens to be when I made the executive decision and left the unhealthy work situation that I'd been in since the end of summer. And let me tell you, that was scary as hell, the equivalent of just stepping off a cliff and trusting the universe to put a cloud or something underneath my feet to support me. Well, that's a kind of magic right there, taking a major risk and trusting that it will work for the best. Up until this week, I still didn't know if the gamble would pay off or not, so I have spent the past few weeks literally preparing for winter in sort of an old-fashioned way, laying in basic food and supplies and making contingency plans in my head that I don't now appear to need, fortunately. We don't really prepare for winter the way people used to. Modern technology is supposed to make the seasons just a pretty backdrop to view out your picture window, as long as you can afford that technology, that is. If you can, be grateful, because there's a whole lot of folks these days that just can't. Some of this preparation has been canning up the last of my garden produce, and if you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you've already seen far too many pictures of that. I certainly didn't grow enough to supply a winter's worth of needs, but 9 pints of stewed tomatoes, another 9 of salsa, and now 6 of kidney beans will make a contribution in the months to come. I've never gone in for pressure canning, just a standard boiling water bath, but it's a good skill to have. My great aunt used to have her basement lined with brick and board shelving that was filled with home canned jars of all sorts of things. And it takes spending a long afternoon or evening over a hot stove, but seeing that stack of gleaming jars in the pantry makes it all worth it. I actually had hoped to get out and put some seeds down to overwinter before the snow fell, just to see if they might get a head start on next year's garden. I might still, though it looks like I've got another week or so before we might warm up enough to have that snow thaw. Oh, excuse me. And let me dig a few little trenches to drop the seeds in. Ugh. Anyway, as soon as we're past the holidays, of course, it'll be time to start seeds indoors for next summer already. I find having green growing things around me definitely helps when it comes to surviving the cold, dark days. All right, so that's the happy homemaker talk. Now, do we want to get into the national situation? I mean, really. Of course, on the one hand, no, the hell I don't. I just want to live my life, spend time with my family and friends, do my creative outlet stuff, and be kind. But these are just a little too interesting times, and the nefarious bullshit that's going on right now is enough to make your head spin. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you need to get on Twitter and start paying attention. I don't know where things are headed from here. No, exactly. I may have some general notions, but then again, might be wrong. I know we're no place I ever truly thought that we as a country could get. Like, oh yeah, there's all that stuff we used to spout back in the punk scene, right? Anti-Reagan and stuff, man, yeah. But for really truly true actual fascism, we're beyond all that, right? Well, obviously not. We're watching a slow motion coup. Okay, that's what I get for reading off a script. Slow motion coup unfolding by the hour. And it's sometimes by the minute, it seems. And it's counting on all the rest of us being so horrified and or destabilized that we just let it happen. Because we're nice people and no one really wants to make a fuss, and perhaps it won't really be that bad. Yeah, sadly, it is. It already is. My home state of Ohio turned red this election, and it's dyeing itself a deeper hue every chance it gets, although at least our governor didn't sign that horrifying heartbeat bill, but the one he did sign is just as bad. IMO. Anyway, at least here in the urban Northeast, we didn't get quite suckered in, but I'll tell you what, them suburban white people sure did. And yeah, I consider it a con job. Absolutely. People who have been disenfranchised bought the hype that jobs are coming back. Jobs aren't coming back, folks. Hate to tell you. Our capitalist model is just no longer sustainable, and it's not going to turn around no matter who helps the country. But it sure ain't gonna happen under Cheeto Leany, he whose name I refuse to sully my mouth with. However, there are those with so much investment in the system as it's been, literal economic investment as well as psychological, that they are not about to let something new and more equitable arise and remove their power base. Who cares if millions lose jobs, homes, lives? They've got theirs. Don't for a minute doubt that the one percenters are playing a long game where they have unlimited access to resources while the rest of us can serve or starve. It doesn't have to be this way, of course. Technology isn't just advancing to put the average guy out of a job, although that's been the first obvious casualty. And to my mind, one of the biggest signs that things are or were actually headed more in that direction is just how hard they're trying to wrench it back to last century's models. Whoever they are. Okay, think about this for a moment. Forces on the, I can't even say right, because first of all, they're so clearly wrong, and first of all, again, they have gone so far right that they fell off the edge into the abyss. But those forces were and are so terrified by the progressive gains that have been made over the last 50 years, really, that they are literally willing to destroy democracy as we've known it just to keep their hands on the tiller. You don't pull out those kind of big guns that they're currently dick-swinging around unless you really feel threatened. And trust me, they do. One of the mantras that has gotten me through those first couple post-election fraud weeks is, Where there is fear, there is power. I think there's a lot to unpack there that we haven't even gotten into yet, but just remember that. Every non-middle class, middle-aged, cishet white person who is personally threatened by the right-wing overthrow of the government holds a power of their own. Every one of us who remembers that we too are worthwhile beings, we too deserve an equal share of the pie. Every one of us is at the same time a threat to those who would deny us. Why are we a threat? Because there's more of us than there are of them. Remember that. Another of my takeaways has been reminding myself how little of the country actually did vote for this clown. He lost the popular vote. There's your landslide numbers, nearly 3 million, not the electoral ones, which aren't really all that great either. And if you take everyone who voted for someone other than this idiot and add everyone who couldn't be bothered to vote at all, and exactly what is your excuse? Oh, other half of the country, because we need to have a word. But that's something like 75% of the nation that did not choose Sherbert Hitler to be our leader. Reports are still breaking as to how we wound up with him anyway, but this is about the furthest thing from a fair and open election the United States has ever held. He just may have managed to skate on technicalities to make it look legit, but he is not a legitimate choice for president. So what can we do? Right now, I suggest you prepare for winter, metaphorically, if not actually. Get your house in order, whether that means putting plastic on the windows. And by the way, I recommend clear shower curtains. They're much better than those overpriced kits. Stock up on rice and beans, or tuck money aside wherever you can. Spend time with the people who mean the most to you. Do activities that aren't damaging to your health or the health of the planet. Bake cookies, play board games, start a book club, take walks when the weather permits. I don't quite know or want to know what we should be prepared for, but the better little Boy Scouts we can all manage to be, the better position we'll be in when it comes to preserving the things that really matter most to us all. And if you don't feel like you can do much right now, that's okay too. Give yourself permission to grieve. There's damn good reason for it right now. We all move at our own paces, and those are what's right for us. When you feel a little stronger, then take some steps. If you feel stronger still, look out for those around you who might not be doing as well. We may spend a lot of time holding each other together over the next few years, so try to be excellent to each other, because we're what we've got. And about that book club, I would really like to recommend Starhawk's Fifth Sacred Thing to people. There's definitely bleak sections to it, but it's not as hard to handle as, say, Handmaid's Tale, and the positive stuff in it is very worthwhile reading. I need to track down a copy again myself. I've got one, but it's in deep storage, and I'd like to reread it sooner than I'm likely to get at that copy. The best things about it, to my mind, are the descriptions of the city, a future Bay Area that functions very differently from how things are now, but not impossibly so. If you're looking for suggestions of where to go next, there are quite a few ideas there to draw on. So yeah, I think that's about everything for now. Yule is only, just over a week away, and I really should be finishing things up for my last minute markets. If I get time, I may try to put something special up for the winter solstice, but I'm not making promises that I don't know if I'll be able to keep. I will try, though. And if I don't see you again till next year, enjoy whatever holidays you celebrate the best you can. Just stay as calm as possible, pay attention, put things in order, love it as much as you can from wherever you are. Take care of yourself and those you love, and be excellent to each other. Seriously. Remember, we have the power to fight for our freedom, and it looks like we're going to get called upon to use it. So stay strong, sisters, brothers, friends, lovers, and I will talk to you all next time.